Welcome to this deep dive into an HDTVSupply product specification page. You know, when you picture a traditional AV control room, it's usually this intimidating fortress.
Right. Just massive racks everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. You imagine racks of switchers and just like a terrifying labyrinth of cables. But our mission today is to explore how that massive, complex technological power is now hiding in plain sight.
Oh, absolutely.
We are unpacking the Kramer WP-5VH2 wall plate transmitter, and it essentially shrinks that whole intimidating AV rack down into an unassuming 4.5-inch plate.
It completely redefines how we build physical spaces. You have this device functioning as a fully featured auto switcher, but instead of, taking up a dedicated room, it sits completely flush against your drywall.
And looking at the specs, the capabilities are just wild. It pushes 10.2 gigabits per second of data.
Which is a ton of data.
Right. So that means
Yeah.
4K video, HDMI, VGA, and stereo audio all over a single cable. And apparently, it doesn't even need to be plugged into a power outlet.
No wall plug needed. That is thanks to Power over Ethernet, or PoE, paired with HDBaseT technology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so instead of running separate thick power cables and delicate video cables, PoE injects low-voltage DC power onto the exact same twisted pair copper wire that's carrying the data.
So the power just kind of hitches a ride.
Exactly. It just hitches a ride on the unused bandwidth of the network cable.
Wait, I'm getting stuck on the distance claim here. Up to 590 feet.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
That is almost 2 entire football fields. My HDMI cables at home start failing if they bend wrong behind the TV. How does a wall plate weighing just 13 ounces shove 10 gigabits of 4K data that far without the signal turning to complete mush?
Well, the funny thing is the signal actually does turn to mush.
Wait, really?
Yeah, by the time a high-frequency digital signal travels anywhere near 590 feet, those nice, crisp, square electrical pulses of ones and zeros have blurred and degraded into sloppy, unusable waves. That is literally just the physics of copper wire. What this wall plate does to fix it is employ Kramer equalization and reclocking technology.
Reclocking. So it's acting like a translator for the degraded signal.
More like an architectural restorer, I'd say. The processor inside the plate receives that degraded mushy wave, analyzes the underlying timing, and actively rebuilds it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it mathematically squares off the waveform, recreating perfectly crisp ones and zeros before sending it along to the display. It is actively reconstructing the signal in real time.
That explains how it survives the distance. But the specs also highlight intelligent ED handling.
Right. EDD is essentially a digital handshake. When you plug a laptop into a display, they need a common language to understand what they are looking at.
Makes sense.
So the wall plate intercepts that connection and negotiates the optimal resolution and refresh rate instantly. It prevents that classic scenario where your presentation shows up all squeezed or flashing on the projector.
And the switching itself is completely automated. It mentions detecting a video clock presence. I'm assuming that's not like a literal clock tracking time.
No, it is a continuous timing pulse embedded in any live video signal, even if a laptop screen is completely black. If the graphics card is actively outputting a video feed, that clock pulse is ticking.
Oh, so instead of just sensing an electrical voltage, which, could just be a sleeping laptop plugged into the wall, the plate feels for a pulse, like a doctor checking for a heartbeat.
That's a perfect way to look at it. The moment it detects that video clock pulse, it instantly switches the route over to that input. No one has to touch a button.
Which eliminates that universal meeting room panic. You know, the 110 people awkwardly staring at a blank screen while someone desperately fumbles with adapters?
Oh, we've all been there. So at $594, supported by a 7-year warranty, you are essentially buying invisible reliability.
And looking at the source, people are definitely buying into it. 96% of buyers gave it 4 or 5 stars. But what really jumped out at me is why they reviewed it so highly.
Right, it's not what you'd expect.
No, they aren't raving about waveform reconstruction. Multiple reviews specifically praise a customer service rep named Rachel. Someone actually called her a rock star for catching an ordering mistake and fixing it.
It highlights this really brilliant paradox in the industry. We engineer this perfectly automated, autonomous tech that negotiates digital handshakes and rebuilds signals over hundreds of feet.
Yeah.
But when someone makes a typo on a purchase order, all that invisible perfection relies entirely on a competent human stepping in to save the day.
The human touch is still the ultimate failsafe. So, taking a step back, the core takeaway for you listening is that the future of AV isn't about building bigger control rooms with more blinking lights.
Right, it's totally shifting.
Yeah, it is about taking all that intelligence, decentralizing it, and hiding it inside the infrastructure itself.
The control room hasn't disappeared, it is just retreating into the walls.
Which leaves you with this final thought to chew on. If a simple 4.5-inch wall plate can autonomously detect a video pulse, mathematically reconstruct massive amounts of 4K data, and route it across 2 football fields.
Without breaking a sweat.
Exactly. What other dumb structural elements in the buildings around you are quietly evolving into invisible supercomputers?